To Daily Focus. I hope that you are ready for a great weekend, and I hope today is a great start to that. I'm obviously dressed to go play golf with a few guys from our church, and looking forward to a little relaxation and exercise out in a beautiful day. But I wanted to jump into Psalm chapter 50. We're going to zero in on verse number 6, and it says, "And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge himself." I think it's important for us to go into today with a mindset that we will answer for our attitudes and our actions. There is going to be an account given for the decisions that we make. Obviously, the text is talking specifically about the decision that people make regarding God and putting their faith in Him. And so the text says, "The mighty God, even the Lord Jehovah, hath spoken and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God hath shined. Our God hath come and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge himself." In other words, there's a couple of things. The first thing, obviously, is to talk about this coming to God. The saints have come to him and made a covenant with him through sacrifice. Obviously, the Old Testament had a sacrificial system that pointed to the reality that their faith was in God, that they were willing to trust God, that they believed that God would send a Messiah that would take away the sin of the world. In our covenant, we look to the sacrifice that Christ did make, and by faith put our trust in the finished work of Christ to forgive our sin and to give us eternal life. Uh, so there's the broader picture, but he's really talking about the fact that God, when he makes decisions in judgment, he is always right. And so when he says to a person, "You've rejected me and my offer of salvation, depart from me, ye that work iniquity, I never knew you," he is right. Man makes mistakes. One of the hardest part of capital punishment is this human element that somebody could make a mistake and actually condemn an innocent person to death. And because we're human, that is possible. I still think capital punishment is a biblical principle and probably a good policy for society to help them understand that you don't have the right to take somebody else's life. But at the same time, we understand the human side of it all. God never struggles with that. God never makes a mistake. God never is, he's never fooled. He's never confused. He's never mistaken. He is always right. And so when he accepts someone into heaven, he's not going to go, "Well, how did you get in here? How'd you slip through?" That's never going to happen with God. He is always right in the decisions that he makes. And the other part of this is that the earth itself shows that God is making right decisions. He formed the world to function the way that it's supposed to. He formed man in his body to function the way that it's supposed to. And we can just see that what God designed is right. And as he comes, there is going to be tremendous intrepidation. I mean, it's going to be a real challenge to every person who, filled with arrogance, tried to convince themselves that God was not right, that God was not in charge, that God does not get to decide. I will decide. If I want to go to heaven, I will go to heaven. If I want to be blessed, I will be blessed. If I want something, I will figure out how to get it. And that's the childish, immature mindset that we have surrounding us in the world. But the truth is that man is not going to. When God comes, he is going to judge. And it's going to be just he himself making the judgment. He's not going to have to appeal to me or to you or to some other person. He's not even going to appeal to his disciples or the apostles of days gone by. He is simply himself going to make decisions, and they're all going to be right. And so what happens is those that have opposed God will suffer the judgment of God. Those who have sought to please God will enjoy the blessing of God, and God himself will decide that. And so I rest in that. I find great comfort in that. I hope you do too, that we serve a God who loves us. He will judge sinners, and he will reward saints who desire to live in obedience to his commands and live in a way that will please him. I hope you'll do that today and through the weekend, and be reminded that it is God himself that does judge the world. God bless you. I'll look forward to seeing you again on Monday.